Hi, this is Philippe Till with the Meta Training System, and today I want to talk a little bit more about what Georges Hébert covered in his book, The Natural Method, or The Complete Practical Guide to Physical Education. In that book, he mentions that the fundamentals are really geared at teaching you how to move properly. They serve an educational and corrective function at once, to the point that eventually you don't need them anymore. And he did say that they do not stand alone in building a harmonious, complete, integrally well-developed muscular body. I disagree with that, and I want to go maybe just an inch wide when it comes to the fundamental concepts of warming up, and go a mile deep so we can explore why the fundamentals, the basics, the education, the corrective can be indeed not just a precursor to any movement that you engage in, but also complete integral physical development indeed, through making it a muscular effort. So watch this series. You can watch it as a series of single fit minutes. You can watch it as short clips on Instagram. Follow me at MetaPT, METAPT on Instagram, or you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, Meta Training System. And again, I'll have other minute-long versions, Instagram 15-30 second long versions, and the whole shebang as well into one long video right now. So here we're using basic bands to add an element of strength, and with either asymmetric holds or multiple repetitions, we are developing the muscles that are associated with a single leg balance, whether it's a lateral extension or a frontal or backwards leg elevation. Right now in this position, you're seeing it with the ball of the foot on the ground to create a little bit of a stretch and get ready for the balance. And at this point, the leg is elevated off the ground. Now, again, this is a hip extension, so it doesn't go very far. I think the maximal range of motion for the human body is about 15 degrees, keeping everything else straight and in line. And I'm going into a forward straight leg elevation. And again, the resistance of the band is what activates the muscles on top of working the balance. Here, taking the basic hands at chest arm position and bringing it to arms out. I would normally do this with or without any weights, just maybe palms facing up or facing down to provide a different level of mobility. But here, the use of the cables makes it, again, more of a muscular engagement. And initially a biceps curl done sideways. This is now a straight arm fly motion, and now again to work more of the retractor scapula. And the triceps, we are using a reverse fly motion. The starting position remains that of the hands at chest. This here is a variation of the hands at shoulders with a forearm extension as well, this time going downwards. This falls into the category of vertical arm extension, even though this is going down, right? And in this case, I am pulling using the triceps. Switching here to a hands at shoulders, where the weight comes from the bottom, the resistance comes from the bottom. You'll recognize it, very familiar. This is essentially a biceps curl. However, notice the position of the elbows and the shoulder blades. Retract it and back. Same thing with this shoulder press. That is also a vertical position, vertical movement that starts at hands at shoulders. And here I'm simply alternating one arm up and one arm behind, which is a variation of the straight arm overhead. So we went from dual arm overhead to single arm overhead, and the arm in the back is actually being pulled backwards by the resistance of the cable. Here, this is a simple arms backwards extension, or a hands behind the back. And with the arms going back, I'm just practicing and pulsing into a nice chest and arm stretch. I'm pulsing forward and I'm coming back, bringing myself into a hollow position. This side view allows you to better see the extension and stretch, and now the hollow position. So again, I'm pulsing forward and stretching, bring myself back into a hollow position. Very good strength into core and abdominals. This is the hanging version of the previous exercise. Extension or elongated extension through a suspension exercise, and I'm switching to a hollow hold, which is a little bit more of abdominals and core work. These are just variations of some of the movements, simply the lateral elevation of the arms, which in this case by pushing down creates the resistance of a downward movement, and here again I'm pulsing forward like I was doing earlier, just with a better chest stretch, and I'm using a weight that is heavy enough so that I won't be able to pull it forward, and by adjusting the weight and bringing it down a little bit, making it a little bit lighter, I'm able to get my arms into an iron cross, bring the arms a little lower, and providing a slightly different angle of chest stretch, more horizontal, whereas the other one was a little bit more elevated. Here's the same view from the side. Again, this is that lighter iron cross, where I can bring the arms to be horizontal and in line. And using a heavier weight, I would not be able to push down. Here's a back view of it. Same movement where I'm pulsing forward, so the work becomes a little bit more focused on the retractor scapula. Same thing, pulsing forward. Now the weight being a little too light, I bring myself forward for better balance, but as you can see, I flew a little bit too far forward. So I would actually benefit from using a weight that's a little bit heavier to get both a greater stretch and greater muscular engagement. This can be done as a great breathing movement. So is this one. The previous one with arms going into circle upward, or if the weight is a little heavier, you can do the curl to press, or again here the lateral raise. So remember, we did this movement earlier where the cables were going up, therefore I was pressing down. Now this lateral elevation is simply from the resistance coming from the bottom. And this is again a horizontal to lateral movement with cables done for strength, but it's also great mobility and can be used with breathing.